A new message appeared on John's screen. Margaret, good morning, John. Did you sleep well? John smiled softly. He hadn't expected anyone to ask, especially someone he had just met online. John, morning, Margaret. I slept well, thank you. And you? Margaret, I did, actually. I woke up to sunshine and my little garden looking happy. It made me smile. John, that sounds lovely. I went for a short walk before breakfast. The park was quiet, just the birds singing. I thought of you when I saw the flowers. Margaret, oh, that's sweet. I'd love to see a picture of the flowers. Do you take photos often? John, only sometimes. But I'll send you one. It reminded me of our chat's little things making the day better. Margaret, it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. You know, I feel like I've known you longer than just a few days. John felt a warmth spread through him. A gentle flutter he hadn't felt in years. A few weeks earlier, John had joined this online community. Widowed and living alone, he sought companionship, someone to share stories and laughter with. Margaret, 67, had joined the same group, hoping for connection, someone who could appreciate the small joys in life. Their first interaction had been simple, a comment about her roses. John, your roses look wonderful. I've been trying to keep my garden alive too, but it's not easy. Margaret, thank you. Gardens have a way of teaching patience, don't they? That small exchange led to private messages, and before long, they were chatting almost daily. John found himself telling Margaret about his morning walks, the birds he heard, the way the sunlight hit his porch. Margaret shared stories of tending her garden, baking little treats, and the quiet joys she found in photography. Days turned into weeks. Every message carried warmth, little jokes, shared laughter, and gentle care. John looked forward to her messages more than his morning coffee. Margaret admitted she felt the same. Even though they hadn't met in person, a connection had formed, a companionship that made lonely mornings feel brighter and evenings feel calmer. They began sharing more personal stories. Margaret told him about her childhood summer spent in a tiny countryside cottage. John shared tales of trips he had taken with his late wife, the places they had visited, and the small adventures that had made life beautiful. Each story brought them closer, and John felt emotions stirring he hadn't expected. One afternoon, Margaret sent a picture of her garden, with roses in full bloom. Margaret, I thought you'd like to see these. They reminded me of the stories you told me about the park in your town. John, they're beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It's funny. I feel like I'm walking through your garden when I look at this. Margaret, I feel the same about your photos. It's silly, but I feel like I know your mornings now. Their conversations became little rituals. Every morning, every evening, a message from Margaret could make John's entire day. There was laughter, gentle teasing, and the kind of care that slowly seeps into your heart without you realizing it. John began to feel alive again, like the world had a little more color in it. Then, one day, Margaret sent a message that made John pause. Margaret, John. I hate to ask, but I'm in a bit of trouble. My cousin borrowed some money from me, and I can't cover it. I just need a small amount, $500, and I'll pay it back in a week, I promise. John's chest tightened. He had grown to trust her completely. Her kindness, her warmth, the connection they had built, all of it made him want to help. John, I want to help you. I hope everything is really okay. Margaret, I wouldn't ask if it weren't urgent. I feel awful asking, but I don't know what else to do. So John sent the money. When she thanked him, with her words full of gratitude and affection, he felt a small glow of happiness. He had helped someone he cared about, someone who made his days brighter. But the requests didn't stop. A week later, another message arrived. Margaret, John. I hate to ask again, but this time it's urgent. Something unexpected came up, and I don't know what to do. I promise it's the last. John hesitated, a flicker of doubt in his mind. Yet, the warmth of her previous messages, the laughter, the companionship, it pulled him in. How could he refuse? "John, all right, Margaret. I'll send it. Just, please be safe." And he did. Days turned into weeks. Each message was filled with care, humor, and affection. She asked about his morning walks, his tea, his books, always attentive, always personal. John felt valued, needed, and alive in a way he hadn't for years. He trusted her completely, and every act of generosity seemed justified because of the connection they shared. Then, slowly, signs of betrayal began to appear. Some of her stories didn't match. But John clung to hope. He had shared laughter, small joys, and tender moments. Maybe he was just imagining it. One afternoon, while running errands at the mall, John saw something that shattered everything. Sitting in a small cafe, laughing and sharing coffee with a younger man, was Margaret, the very woman he had trusted completely. Her smile, the familiar gestures, even the way she laughed, it all looked the same. But she wasn't alone. She was clearly enjoying someone else's company while he had been sending money and opening his heart. John froze, unable to breathe for a moment. The warmth, the companionship, the shared moments, every sweet memory now felt like a cruel lie. He had been deceived, manipulated, and betrayed. The heartbreak was profound. He felt miserable, lost, and foolish. He had trusted, given, and allowed himself to hope, only to have it all stripped away in an instant. The money was gone, yes, but the pain was deeper. It was the emotional betrayal, the violation of trust, and the crushing weight of realizing that those weeks of warmth had been carefully constructed lies. Days passed. John wandered through his quiet house, staring at the computer, replaying every message in his mind. How had something so sweet turned into such misery? Yet, amidst the heartbreak, a lesson began to emerge. Determined not to let this happen to anyone else, John decided to take action. He collected every message, every email, and every transaction he had made. With careful documentation, he reached out to the authorities, the local cybercrime unit and online fraud helpline. He reported the scam in detail, explaining how he had been deceived and providing the evidence he had saved. Though Margaret was not truly who she claimed to be, John worked with the authorities to trace the account. Through the investigation, the scammers' identities were revealed. John pressed charges, cooperating fully to ensure that the person behind the scheme faced legal consequences. It wasn't easy. The process took time, patience, and persistence, but John felt empowered. He realized that while he couldn't undo the betrayal, he could prevent it from happening to others. His courage turned the heartbreak into a purpose. In the weeks that followed, John shared his story with senior groups online, warning others about the subtle tactics scammers use: emotional manipulation, stolen photos, and staged emergencies. He became a voice of awareness, helping many seniors recognize the signs before it was too late. Through the pain and betrayal, John discovered something important. While scammers may take advantage of kindness, knowledge, action, and awareness are powerful shields. He couldn't undo the past, but he could protect the future for himself and others. Even after heartbreak, the heart can heal, and wisdom can grow. John learned that connection is precious, but trust must always be balanced with caution, and that even after betrayal, one can rise stronger, wiser, and more aware.